What is up, guys? Today we're going to be talking about the Galaxy S10e. Now, I didn't think a lot of people actually like this phone. I'm getting a lot of questions about it, and I still really love this phone. It's a great compact phone for 2020, and the price on here is actually really good for what you're getting. You're basically getting a flagship phone here. You can find it on Amazon for around $360, even cheaper on eBay for around $312 if you want to, get a little risky. But I think that's definitely a solid price here. One of the things I just really love about this phone is, again, how small it is. Even though I like big phones and I use the 7 Pro 6.7-inch screen, this display on here, the 5.8-inch display on here, is really nice. It's got the punch hole, which, as you guys know, I'm not a huge fan of the punch hole, but what I love about this is you do get to use some really cool wallpapers on here to cover it up, which I always really liked. But the form factor on here is just really comfortable. It's one of the more comfortable phones, especially for gaming. So that's something I really love too. And Samsung didn't really cut a lot of corners with this phone really at all. So you have a dynamic AMOLED display. It's 1080p 438 for the PPI. It's a very good display, one of my favorites. The build is IP68, so that is always nice to have. And of course, this phone already has Android 10 with One UI 2.0, and it's super smooth. So the US model has the Snapdragon 855 and the Adreno 640, so that's pretty much flagship specs. It's nothing that this phone can't really do on high, so it's a beast when it comes to performance. It's something that I really love. So you also get micro SD support, 128 gigs of storage and 6 gigs of RAM. So as you can see, very powerful device for this $300 360 price point. So my favorite thing about this phone, and I've said this a whole bunch of times on this channel, is the camera. So this is actually my go-to camera. I still just really love the punchy colors and the image processing on this camera in particular. Of course, the S20's camera is better that we had on the channel, but I still really like this camera for certain stuff. So you do have a dual camera setup, the 12 megapixel wide and a 16 megapixel ultra wide, and it also shoots in 4K 60 FPS. So the front facing camera is also really good as well. The 10 megapixel wide and shoots in 4K 30 FPS, and it also takes some extremely good video as well. Another thing I really like on here is listening to music or just watching videos out loud on this thing, because you do have stereo speakers which are very loud. You have one at the bottom and one front facing, and you also have the headphone jack on here, which is very rare these days. Even on the 7 Pro, I do miss the headphone jack, so it's something that I wish phones still had, at least flagship ones, but it is gone. So you do have NFC for mobile payments. The fingerprint scanner on here is not built into the display. It's actually on the side, and I like it. It's fast. I do wish you had a physical fingerprint scanner, but I guess the thing with this one is that you can actually use the swipe gesture to slide down on the fingerprint, and it will bring the notification tray down, which is always handy, I guess. Now, the battery life you would think would not be the greatest since it has a smaller 3100 milliamp battery, but battery life is actually really good on this phone. So it doesn't have the 1440p display of the more expensive Galaxy S10 models, but the display on here, since it's smaller and a lower resolution, you get really good battery life, and One UI 2.0 definitely helps. So battery life, you can get all day battery life, really no problem here. And like I said, no corners were cut, so fast charging, wireless charging, and you also have the power bank / reverse wireless charging as well. So this is like really the go-to phone I would recommend for people looking for a compact smartphone. It really checks off every box, something that I really like. So I just love the design on here. The cameras are a beast. You got the headphone jack, plenty of storage. There's nothing that this phone can't do. It's a really great phone. So if you are interested, definitely go for this phone. I have the Prism White, I think that's what it's called. I'm not sure, but I love this color because you don't see a whole bunch of fingerprints, which is something I really appreciate. So that's really awesome. So what do you guys think about the S10e? Do you guys like compact phones, or do you just prefer the bigger phones? So be sure to let me know, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.